is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Alrighty, people, thank you so much for staying with 95.1 Nigeria Info, your talk station. And you know what? Anytime I listen to Banky's talk and do, say talk no, they solve problem. The only talk and do like Banky, calm down, be calming down, because you need to say these things, but you need to back them with action also. So anyone who says talk doesn't change anything might be missing the point. But I understand the song saying we need to put our money where our mouth is, back these things with action.
Now, I think when you talk, it pushes other people to doing stuff, to making that change, to putting some action to whatever it is you're talking about. So can do, absolutely, I agree with that. But I pretty much misunderstand. I'm confused about the weather today. It's hazy. It's not Harmattan, but it's...
I think Harmattan is announcing itself.
This is early.
Oh, guys, break up. I am going to be hazy. I'm going to dusty, because I could feel the fine particle in the air. Like it came from somewhere from the Sahara Desert. You know, this kind of one that you feel they don't release tear gas somewhere.
And I'm ready to eat as well. It's making me all stuffed up. But
I know.
Let's get ready for whatever it is to come. Because this year has been a bit surprising for everyone. Fingers crossed. Yeah. But wear a nose mask if you can't handle that.
Yeah, I was going to throw that in. You might want to do it if you start to react to the dusticles. You might want to go around with your nose mask. All right, guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to Hard Facts. It's intense, but it's light. And it's Wednesday, so you know what to expect on a Wednesday. Yes, our guest is in the studio. Forget that we're talking about the weather like two British old couple. It's the British Dr. Maggie that thought, what a fine weather today over a cup of tea. So when I hear Nigerian talking about the weather, I'm almost surprised. It feels, but they colonized us, so it's in order for us to talk about the weather. But Dr. Maggie, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Delighted to have you join us.
Yes, sir. As you see the team.
It's been a minute. I've been a very long time.
Co-pilot.
Eugene came one of these days. Where is Itodo now? I said, I miss him myself also.
Itodo, you're welcome back.
Thank you, Dr. Magic.
Thank you very much.
All right. I don't think the weather was responsible. What happened to ministerial nominee Balari Abbas Lawal, who collapsed while screening on the floor of the Senate today. During interrogation, Lawal, who was obviously exhausted, abruptly just passed out. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Who knows? Dehydration, exhaustion, putting all the paperwork on that, the short period of time, a bit of trepidation, just meet people, and then who knows what to ask you. But
it also brings to mind our emergency response to things like this. If we know what to do in this instance, the way he was like different people trying to help and understand what was happening with him. Did anybody know how to give first aid if that was required, or whatever was required to just ensure that he was able before the experts come to his aid? All of that brings to mind that training needs to be done so everyone is ready when things like this happen.
Well, Dr. Madrid, I'm sure you followed with interest that. No, is there any development? Just now.
Not heard of anything yet. We are hoping it should just be one of those isolated cases of exhaustion leading to maybe momentary passing out. We hope and wish him quick recovery from this so that he can come back and face the task ahead of him. We wish him good health, and we pray God to, spare him and give him good health to do that which he has been appointed to do. So we at the moment, our sympathies and our support with both him and his family, and to say, look, we wish him quick recovery.
Yeah.
Yes.
But do you think to be used against him? Nigerians have a way of holding on to little things, fine deals. Like, fainted during the screening, are we sure we start to question a lot of things about his health, particularly if there's no update? Start to wonder, in terms of, is he ready for the job? I feel like there need to be an explanation as to, is it exhaustion that can pass? People get exhausted.
Of course. Even the most healthy person can get exhausted and probably, perhaps like he did this morning. So like you see, public officer now is a minister's designate. So a bit of clarity is required to say, look, this was the reason why he collapsed. But if he had any underlying ailment, there's nothing wrong making food disclosure. Yeah. So that will be quite in order so that we do not have speculations train his tenure as minister. Other than that, and even the most healthy person actually experience such things. So we wish him quick recovery. We pray to spare his life, and it don't get worse than it already is. So that's all we can say for now. Until, of course, we're hoping for positive development.
Yeah. Journalists were sent out in the and I'm curious about that. But like, don't read or whatever. But like,
no, I
you
think
guys
about the
leave.
dignity of the individual. You know, he collapsed. And so maybe to preserve whatever is left of his dignity in that space and that period where he will be lifted out and evacuated.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything so wrong with that, really. Like you rightly pointed out, a bit of clue as to what happened. And he would have been taken to the hospital now. So just like this short statement to say, look, okay, he experienced this. There was exhaustion arising from so and so factors and all. And that he's now fit and proper to discharge responsibility. That would just do us a lot of good. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, maybe the dignity of the person in question, because it's not really a good sight to see a man, father, a husband, a brother, collapsing and in a stage where he's barely aware of his own existence. So I think it was quite in order for cameramen to camera, just to see. I mean, that nobody wants to see such a sight, really.
Well, maybe because his own is, he feels like he wasn't scripted. I mean, during the NDDC committee, we saw a man who fainted and journalists were not chosen.
One of his eyes was pumped up to see what the
So
people
is
are
there a
reacting to his
different
fainting.
degree to how it was like?
But there would always be that action mark to him, even if he
Yes.
gets screened and he's made to assume the role, the position. There will always be that question mark as to if things are not done in the ministry he's put into properly. There would always be like, maybe you're not fit for this ministry because you collapsed while you were being screened. It would really go away.
That's why it will be a lot of good and all of us, so that we can focus on the issues of responsibilities given. I mean, a simple press statement to say, look, this was the reason why this happened. If there are underlying ailments, nothing wrong with stating it. If there are none, you state it as well. And hopefully, if as minister you really perform your duty and we see outcomes, we see results, people really remember that you had such an ailment. After all, we all knew, for example, that the late woman Musa Adua had certain ailments.
Yeah.
But please remember that one of our best presidents, under whose tenure there was stability, there was moderate progress, there was growth in the economy. Under whose regime, petrol price remained 65 naira for almost 2010. It was 65 naira from 2007 to 2011. So that created an unprecedented era of stability because energy prices were affordable,
Stable.
predictable, and stable. That was like the best period in terms of welfare for citizens. And this was a man that was in and out of hospital. So if he performs his duty credibly as a minister, I am sure we may end up forgetting the fact that on the day he was being screened, he actually collapsed.
But it should compulsory maybe for public officials made to
Go through
get their health status
No,
before
but
they
the
assume
truth is,
any
no
role.
matter how old you are, you see,
Yeah.
this is human being. Frailties, our realities, really. No matter how healthy, you can actually develop a condition that can make you collapse the next minute after your fit and proper discharge from a reputed health institution. So it's just the nature of one body. Some things are not predictable. Yes. So I'm hoping that he does not have any underlying ailment that could actually impede on his performance as a minister. I'm hoping so. Because if you're not healthy, you shouldn't actually be in public office, really. I mean, it's just a matter of honor. Now, look, I don't have the good health to discharge my responsibilities to the list. So I don't want to derail the country. I don't want to hamper the progress of the country. That is on one hand. But no matter how healthy you are, I've seen soldiers, for example, on parade. That's when they collapse.
Home abroad.
Home and abroad,
I
so-
saw the Queens, whatever they called them, and a
No
lot of
matter
them
how
were
well-
collapsing.
This can
And
happen.
they
It
were all
can be
young.
sudden. It can come suddenly. Because there are biological processes that don't consult us before they actually occur.
And I remember some years back, it was a market. The heat was intense, the sun scorching hot. And, one woman just slumped there. People were analyzing, and say, you see this heat.
See it?
You stand under it too much, you feel dehydrated, and it knocks you off your feet.
Yes. So
Well, we wish him
all the best. Really.
we wish him all the best. One thing before we move away from this story. The Senate president was calling for water and sugar. I know you might not be the right expert to call, but we want to know where's the water
That's for
and
dehydration,
sugar.
right?
Water, dehydration, sugar. Well, I know that glucose is required to actually some level of strength. to
Not when
somebody
you have
who's-
fainted, but when you've perhaps come out.
This was an emergency situation that I'm sure that was all that came to his mind.
No, but
By
the
way of-
National Assembly definitely should have not beyond first aid box, calls and all of that
No, I'm
to
sure,
respond
but
to
I
them.
don't blame anybody at
The
that
shock.
moment who just decide to say anything that comes to mind by way of what can we do? This is what is called an
Sugar,
emergency.
water.
This is an emergency. So it can be,
That's why
understood.
training is important, so that you know what to do
It
at
can
that
be
point in
understood
time.
from that context that this is something that came to him as provide water, sugar, bring water. That is his own way of expressing do all we can to make sure that we resuscitate him and salvage the situation. But I'm sure the National Assembly should stand by medical team that should have actually come into the arena with few minutes. But I don't know whether when the cameras were actually off, whether they came in a good time to actually take him out and provide him with first aid and further medical attention. That may not have been viewed by those of us that are outside the chamber through the light out. But I believe that would have happened anyway.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we hope he gets back on his feet. It was during his screening, and he would have to go back when he gets back on his feet to finish it up. But does this count, or it's a wrap, bow and go?
Well,
I don't know if we've had a scenario of this nature.
That depend on the Senate, really. They can start to say, well, after all, he didn't just take a bow. He actually he took one and a bow. So why not just I don't know, but it depends on them.
Yeah,
it depends on the National Assembly leadership to decide.
Okay. All right then. So, moving away from that to one story that Nigerians won't talking about on social media, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs seems to think, see, these things are trivial, pedestrian, and we shouldn't indulge in them too much. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, says the present administration does not have time to waste on frivolous issues following controversies surrounding President Tinubu's claim of having obtained a certificate from Chicago State University in the United States. Now, we're appearing on a TV program today. Tugar said that the certificate saga has no effect on the international engagement of President Tinubu, and that the issue is just a mere distraction. That there's a tendency to always try to distract and detain people on such frivolous issues as of facing major issues of development. We don't have to waste on that. Nobody's in time about certificate qualification for somebody who has been a governor for state, served 2 terms, and has been the national stage as a politician. Remember that former President Buhari had to go through the same thing, where people were actually questioning whether he went to secondary school. Someone who had classmate was the captain, he was the head boy. Now, the foreign leader with whom he's been engaging at the international organization clearly are disinterested in wasting time on such. Tugar also stated Nigeria should be focused on the economic challenges in the country presently and not on the certificate. Should we? We can focus on so many things at once.
We can multitask with our focus, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Interesting development. This is like part of the aftershock of the election, right? So, at the instance of one of the contestants, 2023 presidential election, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar of the PP, certain inquiries were put forward to the school that President Tinubu claimed to have graduated from or attended and graduated from. So we've seen a series of court cases and legal entanglements that have resulted into the school moving forward to present the required documents and credentials as rightly demanded for the candidate of the PDP. First and foremost, what I would like to point out is one lessons to learn is that you've seen how judiciary works in the United States of America. No too much based on technicalities. Everything was based on substance of the matter before them. The presiding judicial officer that eventually granted this band of Atiku did it in view of the fact that Atiku claimed he would need this information to support his case at the Supreme Court. The honorable, is it a magistrate now, or I don't know, or a justice, actually said yes. If that is the case, she looked at the timeline, Supreme Court convening over this matter here in Nigeria, and said, look, we need to release this before so that it will not impede on this man's opportunities at the court. That tells you that you must at all times align judicial pronouncement, because as judiciary you are to interpret the law. You must align your decisions, your pronouncement, your judgments with the course of natural justice.
Yeah.
And not just technicality. Don't wait for you to be served every detail you need. You are a human being. So that woman, as a citizen of global citizen of the world, she understands the issues happening in Nigeria. And against that background, she made that. So I've always argued that morality and law are very compatible. And in fact, morality has law as its safeguard, because it's crafted. The law was crafted to safeguard morality. So you can't divorce both. So I think we need to lesson or two from this. And that is why the systems work. That's why there is prosperity there. That's why there is security. I hope we learn from that aspect. Interesting thing for me in all of this anyway.
Can we go a quick break and look at the issue proper after?
This is Nigeria Info. is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts. And we get stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
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 Sunday.
This is Nigeria Info.
Up until today, when the officials from the university under some positions on the material facts, a number of things have come out of this whole issue. Some are still hazy, some are very clear. So I think I will deal with the ones that appear very clear. What is clear actually is that, okay, President Bola Tinubu did indeed attend that university, Chicago State University, and indeed graduate. This one is clear.
In
Because
79,
in
yeah.
79, the university has come out to say, this is it. And he was quite a brilliant student. The university has also said so. Talking about the process of admission, the university also said yes, he came in with something that looks like a qualifying certificate from an affiliate university that feeds the Chicago State University. And that indeed, he also, what he claimed he obtained from that institution was what he presented, and they verified it to be also authentic. Now, on the issue of having F, female, on one of the documents released, the university, through the registrar that is making this deposition, said it was a clerical error on their part. On the issue of a certificate that he presented to INEC being markedly different from what was originally issued. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. According to the registrar of the university, he is saying that for American institutions, it matter to you Nigerians, but to us, the paper, what you call statement of result here, not very important to us. What's important is your transcript. What the authenticity of your degree is your transcript records with us. And that if you, well, we'll give it to you as per, take and go on to show ceremonially that you have, but in itself is not. It's not, does not have any importance attached here. And that's why we don't keep copies of it. Once we give you, if you misplace it, you can get it from vendors. This is where it gets a bit tricky again. So my interpretation is, when you can get from vendors, does it mean that, okay, since you know what you got, since you know, can you also go ahead and clone wherever you need to show proof? I don't know that what that is meaning, but this was some of the things the man said. So this, me, kind of puts to rest the authenticity otherwise of his Chicago State University college degree.
Yeah.
You know, people get some of this a little bit twisted. What was in contention in 1999 was the fact that when he failed his INEC form in 1999, He claimed to have attended University of Chicago, not Chicago State. These are two different universities. University of Chicago is a great Ivy League university in the United States of America, one of the best universities in the world, highly sought after and very expensive. So obviously more prestigious. But in his defense, he said, well, it wasn't my intention to have misled the electoral body, that it was the person who filled it mistakenly filled University of Chicago instead of Chicago State University.
And perhaps not aware.
Not aware. It was, if I mentioned who filled the forms, and the person didn't quite understand the difference between the two. At that time, well, you can say the explanation suffices, whatever. But today again, the question is not whether he is claiming another university. He claimed the university that has also authenticated, yes, he was our student and he graduated.
Yeah.
Now, another issue there that is a bit, that is raising some concern, I'm sure both parties will clarify as time goes on, is the issue of, okay, what qualifications give him admission into the university besides the other qualifying credential he obtained from an affiliate college, that is what secondary school did he attend.
Yeah.
So we saw something like Government College Lagos, something like that. I don't know if that document showed that he claimed to have attended Government College Lagos. That's something that those who actually obtain this document, we need them to come out clearly and itemize what they have found that is wrong with his claims. But what I'm saying is what the university authorities themselves have found concerning what concerns this man's credentials as per their university. So whether he claimed to have attended Government College Lagos for his high school education, it is not very clear from all of those depositions I've seen. But if that be the case, and if the who are actually on this matter feel that he did not attend that secondary school and that that in itself was now forgery, it's not left for them to put the matter before the Supreme Court. However, from the little I know about his credentials before INEC, I don't think there were indications of primary and secondary school. So if he has not claimed in his INEC form that attended any school, and you saw something somewhere that said he entered school, that may not have a big value in this matter because he didn't claim before INEC assistant that he attended that school. So maybe what you can do is if indeed he claimed to have attended the school he didn't attend, that becomes a separate matter. You can now push, maybe make a case for Chicago State University to withdraw his degree because you think that he presented a false or a forged prerequisite to get admitted in the first place. That is a matter that outside the decision of a election petition court. So essentially, my thinking is, I do not think this will have any significant probate value before the Supreme Court on this particular matter. I don't really think so. So the only thing is, this will, issues have been made out of it. If at the end of the day anyway, the article about the legal team and the media team sits down to now itemize whatever it is that is in this trove document, that is forgery, that is incriminating, clearly not, you see what I mean, social media are simply innuendos. Honestly, I mean, tiny character document, I don't have the energy to my eyes to begin to read. So those who have gone to this extent to obtain this document should please
itemize them.
And if possible, just a world press conference to itemize the flaws, the discoveries, the criminalities, the forgery. But what they should itemize it so that people can look at them and say, okay, this is the extent of claim against this man vis-a-vis what these other people feel to be his, forgeries or whatever.
Yeah.
Identity theft and all. In the case of identity theft, all of the allegations, itemize them properly. And so that the reading public can now read and compare and contrast and make up their mind. But as long as for now, I've only relied on the position made by the registrar of the university concerned, and from his job so far, it doesn't seem to me that this man forged his university degree. But like I said, those who were on this journey, it is now on their part, it is now their responsibility to come out clearly and itemize these issues and now tell us where. What is there anything we are not saying? Is there anything the university trying to cover up? Just let us know and probably take the hands to court. But I do not think, from my little understanding of electoral experience in Nigeria. I do not think all of these issues have perspective. Honestly,
Just to get clarity in this forgery situation, because Nigeria, if you maybe clarify this for me as well, in Nigeria, in place your university certificate, you're required to reach out to the institution to get a replacement. You can't just go to a third party to get a placement. But the reverse is the case, wherein they only have your transcripts and you can have the organization send a confirmation and back and forth. And all.
Like they have done now.
Like they've done. But submitting that certificate in Nigeria, it means you can get the third party to do it and doesn't count as forgery, even though in Nigeria you cannot do the same thing in terms of printing yourself and not reaching out to the...
You've asked a very important question. Now, the university, again, on this matter is saying, we cannot whether the one he submitted is forged or not because we've not even seen it. We don't know, we're not aware. We've not seen it. That's the position of the university. But again, they try to say, look, but for us, as long as his transcripts are in order and reflects his record, academic records here, and that is him to the degree he's holding now, that suffices for our own jurisdiction. But maybe in your own jurisdiction, like in Nigeria, if you misplace your original certificate, it will not issue another one. They won't give you a CTC copy, true copy. That's why most not actually collect the certificate from the university until when it's extremely needed. They leave it there. Because you can place it and there's no replacement. That's on one hand. But like you rightly pointed out, is it like in the case of Nigeria, if you misplace a certificate, you cannot go and now produce one yourself and say this is a certificate. That may be something that we need to interrogate further because what else it is your certificate? This is the question now. Did you read from this university? Is it your certificate? So did you now clone a copy to show by which if I present you, for example, as an employer and you're the university, they'll say, yes, he's our graduate. So does this qualify as forgery even within the Nigerian sense? This issue is thrown out of.
Yeah.
So what is the most important thing here is, did you graduate from this university? Yes, I did. Okay, you misplaced your certificate. So what did you do? You cloned it. I'm just assuming somebody cloned though. So you cloned it, for example. You did, right? I took it to the university and said, okay, did the person graduate? Don't forget that what the university is authenticating. It's not the paper.
It's the
academic record.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Even in Nigeria.
They got their record and they find
simply check. Okay, what's the name? What year? Department. And they go to the registry department. And they check and say, yes, he graduated. They don't have any, there's no methodology to even check whether there are discrepancies. That is essentially not the of this one, really. What is most important is, are you really a student and did you graduate? Because someone actually clone a certificate perfectly with all.
And there's no record in that institution.
Exactly. So does this now make the person a student or otherwise? So I don't know how our courts here would decide that one. But the one thing is certain, and it's important we understand this as Nigerians. This man attended Chicago State University and he graduated Julie. Again, what is not clear to me as at this time, because like the fonts are so tiny, I don't even know what they're talking about. Did he claim to have attended government college in Lagos for secondary education? And he did not. Let those who are in court now tell us. So if that is the case, and this is just a presumption. I mean, assuming for example that were to be the case, that he claimed to have attended government college in Lagos and not, and that was the basis upon which he got an admission to that school.
Then
that separates matter. Now notify the school and say, no, you admitted this person under false pretense, under a forged certificate. It's a prerequisite for admission. So I ask you not to withdraw certificate because it is based on nothing. That is another matter for another day.
That's if we can make such a request. It depends on
also I don't know the jurisdiction
of their own system.
These are judicial issues.
Because we can't just directly apply ours to theirs.
Exactly. So these are things for the legal team and the strategies of Atiku Abubakar to figure out. But what is clear so far is that Tinubu's claim of being an alumni
of Chicago State University
is authentic. He attended that school and he came from that school. What is so in the interim, the issue of identity theft, the school has said the F instead of the N in the sex column is their clerical error. And this is the school speaking, not his lawyers. I think that again should suffice for now until someone is able to prove that the school itself is called on for Tinubu. So if they can prove that, again, we'll have to come and discuss it. But for now, this is the position of the school. And the issue authority has substantial, I won't say financial, but substantial say on any matter that do with authenticated document is purported, dominated it.
All right, there's another aspect of this. Aside from the fact that we're having two presidents back that we have to question whether they went to school or
not.
they are certificated. We did that for 8 years.
Yes,
and
I'm on this one again.
I hope we don't have to do it again after this particular, because really at this time it's becoming painfully boring and annoying. But here, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is talking about it being frivolous. Do you agree with him? Because we're talking about the number one citizen, yeah? And you think that things about their academic and certain things should be important to the country.
No, definitely it's important to the country. And like I said, now that a lot of issues have been raised, now the university has come out early.
Yeah.
To say he was our student. He graduated here, and why his claims are about his qualifications from this place is authentic. Fine. So to this extent, it's not, you can't say it's frivolous. People want to know who their president is, background, everything is in order. However, for the political parties, I think I agree with the minister that it's very frivolous. Especially for the PDP. And I must say this. If the PDP had kept its own rules in-house by giving the presidency to the South, and specifically to the South, its largest and most consistent vote base in the South, at the time when the South, part of the Southwest, and the people have said, give to the Southeast. And if, as we advance on this program, a Peter Obi, who at that time already had his own popularity and substantial following on his own individual ground. I describe Peter Obi as the Buhari of 2015 is Peter Obi of 2023. Somebody with his own following. So when the Tinubus and co came around Buhari now, added structural support to him and he played. Obi already had,
that following.
He had it already. So any party that wanted to take power, I've said, okay, can we now add to what I'm already having? On to about Conley said, not only to the South, but consider this man as your candidate. That he has closest, he has the most advantage going into this race. Unfortunately, the same article, and this is where the issue of frivolity comes in now. The same article, who should have been the statesman, who should have understood that after 8 years of presidency in the North, the South should have a strong, the purpose of national unity, equity, fairness, and inclusion, who was expected as a beneficiary of the support of particularly the South and the Middle Belt in 2019. He was supposed to have done what the refines of this world, the Gandujes, the Petimans, the Mutawales, and all this other establishment and influence the APC did for the Southern brethren. If you look at the APC power election, Tinubu came first because it was perhaps the biggest contributor to the emergence of a president of Northern extraction, the person of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015. He came first. You saw it was a reflection of appreciation to you. He came first. No, who does not know the contribution of Amechi to the emergence of Buhari in 2015? Who does not know? Amechi came second. You saw the former chief of Mr. Buratai something tall for Amechi on election day. Was his agent. The opposite again was who? Was the former vice president. Who thought that when Osmanjo came into this whole thing as vice president, he brought this youth vibe. There was something that Osmanjo brought into this whole thing that attracted a lot of youth to the Buhari campaign in 2015, which contributed to his victory. What am I saying? You could see that there was a deliberate effort to reward their Southern allies within the ranks of the APC.
So, Dr. Majid.
In the PDP, and I must say this, I must emphasize this. Atiku was expected to mobilize the likes of Lamido, Ali Bangida Mauzu, former PDP chairman, and other PDP chieftains in the Muslim North, which is the largest democracy in Nigeria, to similarly support their allies from the Southeast for the presidency in 2023. He was expected to have done that.
Well, he had.
And PDP would have been lucky because it is not a hidden secret that President Muhammadu Buhari wasn't so enthusiastic about the emergence of Tinubu as president. We saw it early. Meaning that he left certain things to chance. So meaning that Muhammadu didn't have block support from his own party leadership, which is presidency then. There were chances that with a good effort, if I could have done for Atobi, what did Tinubu? What others did? Did you see what these northern guys did for Tinubu? When even they were trying to change this naira currency and they perceived it was against Tinubu, did you see what northern guys did? They went to court. Look, what southern governor would have been able to go to court against Buhari decision like that. El-Rufai held Buhari to the jugular, held him by his, you know what I mean? To say you can't do this. It was only an El-Rufai and others that are from the president's demography could have done that to President Muhammadu Buhari. Because they felt if this man loses the election in Northern, nobody will believe that all of them didn't collaborate to deny the South. And he was there for us. You saw Tiba, this Tiba as vice president. It was when it became obvious that they were planning to bring in Ahmed Lawan in order to succeed. That was the first time Shetiba stepped out of the shows. Went on all television stations, they took to demystify the North and told them that they cannot even present it and win election. Why was he doing that? Because they felt they had a stake, they had an honor towards their southern brothers, particularly from the southwest, that gave them the measure from the south. In 2015, Atiku failed to do this. And you know, I've been wondering about this matter for a long time.
So, Majid, all
this is an exercise
back
in futility. Let me be straight. So that I don't comment on cases before the court. But I can assure you, it's an exercise in futility.
All right.
PDP could have expected to go to an election with an Atiku as candidate, and they'll be standing as Labour Party candidate, and expect to win an election against Atiku. I've said this severally that it might not be perfect, might not be reflected reality. And let me say this: any Southerner that thinks that Atiku did not win this election, or thinks that Atiku or some other sense should have won this election, is in himself not understanding his own value in the Nigerian political space. How can Atiku win an election when the whole of South East, that is the bulk of PDP support base, supporting Obi? If Atiku had won this election, it means that South East is insignificant in Nigerian politics. It means South East can be done by the PDP. That's what would have meant. But the fact that the South East showed resolve to say, we are not second-class citizens in Nigeria. We can resist state power and do one of our own, not out of tribalism, but out of a quest for justice. You know what that meant? That crashed the PDP, as I predicted. So it does not the validation for the important relevance of the Southeast in the scheme of things area. So for any Southeasterner in PDP to be turned Atiku on, it means you try to let me know that Atiku would have won an election without Southeast support.
Well, for a lot of people, it's about politics, not region here, even though they are neatly
I'm trying to deepen this conversation.
I agree.
I know where we are coming from. So why I say it's frivolous and truly frivolous, out of politicians. But for Nigerians who want to know, no, it's not frivolous. But for politicians, you see, this has been a product of investigative journalism. That a media house tried to carry some scoops to find out. I may bring out some data from the president in this regard. Fine, that's a citizen approach. But this is a potential court to obtain documents to bring to the Supreme Court. I'm saying, how did you ever do this election with such a divided house? Kokoso was on one side. Obi has become in Nigerian politics. Do you know what Obi has become? Obi was a movement, still remains a movement. Let me tell you, Obi is very intact. Is anybody who waited for 2023 is still obedient to today? They are all intact. They are very intact because the reasons they voted for Obi are still prevailing. The failure of the statute. You are seeing the failure consistently. So people are still feeling that we made the right choice to vote for Obi and we vote for him again because we feel better.
Well, what does the silence of the president who is in question, right, certificate situation?
Because he knows that the PDP is simply fooling itself. He knows that's it. Look,
so
this
intentional. And I mean, I'm talking about the trust with the people he's leading, because Nigerians trust right now.
You don't expect a man to closely to answer to a question that the university itself has answered to. If Atiku wanted to win the election, wanted his party to win, or he didn't want Atiku to win, he should have been a statesman. He should have mobilized the North in his own sphere of influence, southern candidate on the platform of PDP. I am unapologetic about this position. And to tell them their time, and the opportunity is here now, to win the next election, either the Labour or together, is here and wasting their time chasing something that they cannot grab. And what is the opportunity? I keep asking this question. Nigerians today are feeling the heat of toxic government policies that has reduced. In fact, this is like the worst time ever in my own living memory as a Nigerian. The PDP under Atiku's leadership does not have a solution, an alternative solution to the problems we are facing. To say, look,
why do you think that? We held them for 16 years.
Can you show me this? No. You cannot hold somebody to his past as a politician. No. The Republican Party today that appears to be maybe a little bit conservative, not so welcoming of change, social integration, was the party that fought for abolition of slavery in America. America was a Republican. But a time that certain people that the Republican Party became conservative and we are opposed to civil rights in a way. And Democrats that fought to return slavery became the champions of civil rights. So this is politics. A man can go today, his son will not be good.
Yeah.
I'm saying that as a presidential candidate, the leader of the major opposition in Nigeria, what is Atiku's position, policy position as an alternative on the ongoing issues Nigerians are facing? Can anybody point it to me?
Well, would it not be because he's still shrouded with the busy more like
Awolowo was always writing letters to Shagari to correct policies and provide solutions, which his own party, UPN, held to continuously support the UPN ideology and manifesto. That's what is called politics. People have an alternative to hold on to. Tell me today what Nigerians will vote for any of the other parties in 2027, beyond individuals as a mobilizing factor. What is the position of PDP on subsidy removal? Haven't seen the diversity effect. Do they have a can they itemize it and make it known and let it reflect in their PD state and let their MPs in the National Assembly also reflect that position? How is happening in the American Congress? It's pure party ideological issue. They have strong position on issues of spending. And they felt that the speaker compromised the core party position.
They removed him. That is first in the history of your party.
That is what sustains democracy. Alternatives. There are Americans today who believe that this budget has passed that saved them from shock is inadequate. We don't like what is passed there. Those people now will bring to that vote more for Republicans. For those who love what has happened, they will vote more Democrats. Ask me by 2027 if you don't want Tinubu to power to be power article for you today to begin to not only unite the fractured party you are leading, but come with an authority that Nigerians can hold on to a strong candidate that is popular. Okay, we have a credible candidate who has integrity, and the ideas will correct this anomaly. That's the only thing that can make Tinubu leave power in 2027. If continue along this line, Nigerians will not be able to summon the courage that in 2023 to confront the government. They will not do it, and the man might win a second term. So advice from the foreign affairs minister may have been tended to scorn what they are doing. But look at that, what are you doing? This is appropriate value, all these things you are talking about. I talk about the Nigerian factor. I don't talk about the Nigerian factor. Tinubu is an establishment person who nobody will trust. I mean most people don't trust establishment people. Look at the vote with which he be president. That was a minority vote. So that Tinubu was programmed to have failed and lose that last election. It was programmed clearly. In fact, even the losers in the past 3 elections, or let's say 2011 and 2000.
They make that poll.
They losers, so not us. So it means that if Atiku had led the way properly, all of the votes that were splitted along the train would have gone for one candidate. And I'm saying it was even better for the PDP to have lost with the southern candidates. Honorably. That we didn't violate zoning, we are best. But okay, we lost. Honorably. Than to have lost in this manner. You said winnability made you litigate in the north. Okay, where's the winnability now? You didn't win. You lost against a southern candidate that was not even very popular.
All right, Dr. Majid, let's look at some comment quickly just before we go for the news at the top of the hour. Let's talk about winnability. I know we talked about it for weeks
and
on the
roundtable. That this is not right.
And sadly, it just shows
you are putting that region saying winnability.
Yeah.
Now they have given a ticket. What did you win? Now you have lost elections. You are trying to do all of this that you know. I don't know whether he does not know that this does not have meaning. Look.
No, but he's been severally to court. He should know what has and what doesn't have at this point in time.
I don't know.
Like
now you've gone to this court in all of this. Have you noticed that all the PDP pundits have not been on air from the past 2-3 days to elaborate on this matter? What are they going to talk about?
They're trying to understand what all of this
means. Like it's fine print. You don't want to sound
okay, no problem. So we wait for them for the next 1 week to see whether they'll come and make sense out of it. That is the issue. So if there is any lesson learned from this last election, if I to know that he shouldn't have contested that election on the basis of honor and common sense, and should start mobilizing and rearranging this party to say, look, that has been good to me. I've been vice president, I've been everything I could be. What do we do now to solve Nigeria's social problems democratically? So let's organize, let's come up with a new idea thinking that Nigerians can hold us. It's okay. This one will save us from the cost of living crisis we are facing, inflation, corruption, and everything that we are facing today. This will save us. They're not even doing that. I heard Nigerians to just come out on election in 2027 and find behind you without having any compelling reason to do so. I don't think so.
All right.
I talk about Tinubu not being very popular. It's a statement. We believe the worst of Tinubu. I said that he graduated from the university. Some people will see that it is.
I saw someone who was saying the university is working in cahoots with him. Like,
thank
dude,
you. So what am I saying? That's not about Tinubu that they're talking about now. That is, even if today it imagine that Tinubu forged, even if that was the case, it won't change any perception. People already have that impression that he forged it.
They think the worst. Yeah.
So think what of him. So this has there's no impact on the man or on the process.
All right.
We already believe, a lot of us believe the worst of the man already. So I'm saying, is this what you spend all your energy doing? One should have done better. In any case, this is a relation to sell, essentially.
We'll see how it pans out.
I'm the Tinubu lover. Hope all of you know. Thank you.
Let's look at 1 or 2 messages. Dorcas is standing by already for the news.
Good afternoon, Talkback. Thank you for joining. This one right here says, However, we keep recycling our politicians. We also know that it's not in our culture to go for checkups until we feel ears. The leaders are overworked. For me, they need to relieve themselves for the younger people. That's what Charles in Kuba is saying. And LV says if he is diabetic, such could be a case of hypoglycemia. That drop in blood sugar level, in that case, sugar plus water soda could help increase the sugar level. And the idea of standing before 109 people, for me alone, could add more tension to someone, make them collapse. They should be able to reduce any tension of answering unexpected questions. That is from Sheun Adiagbo in so giving diagnosis as to what could have led to him collapsing. And why disturb ourselves or each on unnecessary issues such while we have serious economic problem on the ground to attend to? Someone who has been Senate governor besides other important employments, wasting our precious time on his certificate. What certificate had Atiku presented to INEC? Nigerians should also want to know, or should use this opportunity to know about Atiku's certificate as well.
All right, then let's take a quick break. The news at the top of the hour. We'll continue our conversation with Dr. Majid and you after the break.